Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is for you. Let's begin with our feet hip width apart. If you're not sure how to get your feet hip width, you can do that nice trick where you turn the toes in and the heels out and then just swing the feet forwards again, and that should bring your hip width. There's something about looking down at your feet, there's something about looking down from that big angle that makes that perspective kind of narrower. So I think we often go kind of too narrow. You should have your feet kind of underneath your hips there, okay? So let's just start by growing a little bit taller. So start standing a bit more upright, push down through the feet, through the floor, and lift up with the crown of the head to the ceiling. And close the eyes and gently start taking a sway from left to right, taking the weight through the left leg, through the right leg. And as you do so, kind of soften the knee as you go to each direction, and then straighten the leg, engaging through the thigh, through the hips, through the bottom of each side. Okay, so that soft knee. Push through and beyond the floor. Push through the tripod, through and beyond the floor. And engaging through the thigh, through the hip, through the bum. And then we're going to come back to bring the weight 50-50 through each leg. We're going to think about weight through the tripod, so heels either side of the ball of the foot. And send your weight evenly through those 6 points, please. And open the eyes. We're going to reach up, we're going to take a nice inhale, grow tall. And an exhale, drop the shoulders, lift the crown of the head, lengthen the neck. Inhale, grow tall. And exhale again, drop shoulders, lift crown. And again, one more time. Grow tall. Exhale, drop shoulders, lift crown, and just gently standing, relaxing. So again, this will be easier by a mirror, but I want you to just look down the side of your leg and check that you've pretty much got your knee above your ankle and your hip above your knee, okay? So that should be standing nice and tall. I've got shoulders above hips as well, which is really good, and that should be you standing with all of your joints in that lovely kind of tower, one joint above the next, above the neck. Think a Lego tower block. Okay, and then we've got to get our hips into the neutral position as well, because they may be tilting forwards or backwards incorrectly. So let's hold on to the hips, do your pelvic tilts forwards and backwards, and imagine that bowl of water. Pour water out the front, pour water out the back, and bring that water level so that it's still, and that is your neutral hip position somewhere in the middle. And gently relaxing the hands. If it doesn't quite feel at the middle, that's probably because you have a natural tendency to be too far one way. Okay, I have a natural tendency to kind of stick my tailbone out more, so my middle point, my neutral point, actually feels quite tucked under for me. Okay, it might be the same for you, or it might be the other way around. So let's again start just growing a bit taller, lifting through the rib cage, draw the chin in and lift through the crown to lengthen the back of the neck. Then extend the fingertips down to the floor and just feel nice and tall. We're going to roll the shoulders up, back and down. 5. Think about shoulder blade positioning. 4. 3. Follow those shoulder blades up and down. 2. And hold at the top on 1. So squeeze shoulder blades back, squeeze them together and slot them carefully down your back, still squeezing together, squeezing together. So we've got this open chest. And then gently just let the shoulders roll forward slightly. Give them a light shrug so that they stack in that Lego tower block above the hips, okay? And then I'd like you to start pulsing the pelvic floor, lifting it, lowering it, lifting it, lowering it. Okay, and then we're going to take an inhale to prepare and an exhale. Hold that pelvic floor up, front passage and back passage, that mid flow on the loo, and you stop the flow. Okay, and when you run out of breath, let it go. And we're going to lift one more time. So inhale to prepare and squeezing, clenching, holding for the exhale, and let it go again. Fingertips to your B-line, okay, your belt line, bikini line from hip to hip. Hold those fingertips there below the belly button. And let your tummy hang out. Imagine you've gone for that big meal. You've had your starter, you've had a big main, you've had your dessert, you've had your ice cream, you've had your coffee, and you're feeling pretty big and fat and horrible, to be honest. And all you're going to do is draw that B-line in towards the gut and then draw it in slightly further in towards the spine. Okay, and that should really start to have tugged physically, made you slimmer, but also to have contracted through the lower abdominals and tugged the abdominal wall in towards the spine. Now lift the pelvic floor at the same time and see if we can't breathe twice. Inhale and exhale. Pelvic floor up, beeline in. And gently relax. Let's add in our correct breathing technique now. So hands to your ribs, as we've done loads of times before, gently relaxing those shoulders, lengthening and taller through the neck. Draw that beeline in towards the guts, in towards the spine, lift the pelvic floor, expel the air from the body first, and then a long breath in. And a long breath out. And it might be nice to close the eyes here. Lift that pelvic floor, draw that beeline in. If you have got a mirror, you might want to turn in front of the mirror just to watch that your shoulders stay nice and low. And physically see your rib cage pushing your hands apart. And gently relaxing back in. Lifting pelvic floor, drawing beeline in. Let's go for 2 more long breaths. And then gently relaxing. So we'll try and use that ribcage breathing throughout. So as long as you are inhaling and exhaling, that's fine. Let's start to gently just heel toe through an ankle. So do focus on the range of movement. Try and get that lift and that lower through the ankle. Okay, as much range of movement as we can get is great. And then onto the other leg, just heel toe to begin with. Oh, those, I don't know if you could hear those cracks on the microphone, but there were some good cracks then. Okay, and onto the other side, and gently rotating through the ankle. And gently rotating back the other way. And place the foot down and have a go on the other side. And gently rotate back the other way again. Okay, and take it down. So feet hip width apart, gently lift one heel and then lift the other into your heel pedals and take that weight through the balls of the feet. Okay, and the toes nice and wide, spread across the mat for balance. And you can go kind of as fast or as slow as you want with these. Just think about that upper body posture. So lift up through the crown of the head, lengthen through the back of the neck, lift the rib cage up. And then think about that cursor and centering, so pelvic floor up, beeline in, and let's get going. So now I'll come back to classes and things. I'm teaching live classes again. It's been really nice to see everyone. There was one lady who said at home, I won't mention any names, at home she's found herself talking back to me on the videos. So if you've been doing that as well, you're not alone apparently. Okay, so don't worry if you're answering me back at all or telling me to shut up and stop working you so hard, that's fine. And gently bring it back down to the floor. So we're going to do our necks just to warm those up so they're not shocked by any sudden movements. We'll gently take the chin down to the chest. And we're going to go a step further. Once the chin's to the chest, I want you to let the nose drop down toward the chest so you do get quite a full stretch down the back of the neck. And from there, you're going to gently take your chin left to right across the chest to each shoulder and back again. Okay, so really nice deep hang of the head. And back to centre, gently lifting up and left to right with the chin. Try and keep the back of the neck long. Okay, and again, you do this as quickly or as slowly as you want to, completely up to you. And back through to centre, and then up and down, up and down. Lovely. And and chin back through to the centre. Okay, so just start to take the hips from side to side now. So jut them out. Try and keep those knees soft as well. It's very tempting here to hyperextend and push the knees back, lock the knees. So you're just going side to side. If you want to add in a slight side bend, please feel free to take a slight reach down the leg. It doesn't need to be anything crazy because we'll do some full side bends in a moment. Just want you to warm up slightly. And we're going to come to bring the hips back to centre. Bring the heels together and take the toes out to the side. Okay, and we're going to come up to do a plie. So with the heels pushing together, let's push through the balls, the feet lift the heels. So what we should have here is a squeezing together of the bum, squeezing down the back of the legs. Okay, you can also gently tuck the tailbone down ever so slightly. That will help you to squeeze with the bum. You can lift through the ribs and draw that B-line in, lift that pelvic floor so we're nice and centred. Lift up nice and tall through the back of the neck as well and relax the shoulders. Okay, the shoulders shouldn't need to do any tensing here. So gently take it down. Okay, so you don't have to lift up really high, just lift up enough so that you can engage your glutes and engage your legs. Let's add in the hands this time. So let's reach up as we inhale, squeeze in the backs of the legs. Again, check in with that posture. So pelvic floor and core on, tailbone tucked down slightly, ribs up and long back of the neck, and relax the shoulders down. That's the position we want to come to, and gently back down. So let's inhale, coming up, core centering on, exhale down. Let's do 3 more. Inhale, relaxed shoulders. Exhale down. 2 more. Squeezing through the bum. Exhale to return. Last one. Off you go. And gently down. Really nice. Shake that out a little bit. So we're going to come back to those plies. We'll be doing this in the... I'm getting my hand positions confused. We'll be going from the 5th to the 3rd position. So that's your 4, yeah, that's your 3rd. So we're going from this 5th position with the hands. I've just got the hands up above me in a kind of nice balletic pose. And we'll be taking one hand down to this side. So that's to come out to your 3rd position. From here, we're going to gently just side bend to reach down and then back up. Okay, so try again on the other side. And do get the spine to flex and to bend, okay, as you come back up. So we're going to do that from our plie. Feet together. And let's lift up. Hold there. Okay, get your posture right, get your feet right, get comfortable. And it's going to be an inhale to gently take the hand down, slight side bend. Exhale, strong through the core and the waist. Inhale, down on the other side. Exhale, strong return. 1 more on each side, please. Inhale, down. Exhale, strong return. Side bend, inhale. Exhale, strong, and gently bring the hands down to the sides. And we're just going to start to march on the spot now. So pushing off with the balls of the feet. Whilst we were holding those plies, we were holding our muscles contracted, okay, nice and tense, and they weren't moving, okay, so the muscle fibres were quite still but quite tight. So what we're doing now is just loosening off by moving the muscle fibres, okay? So you think the muscle's got fibres in it and these fibres kind of rub past each other. They lengthen kind of by sliding past one another. So as soon as we start to move our muscles, these fibres themselves move and it releases the tension. So let's take those feet back down, okay? So let's go into our side bends next. We're going to take a wide stance, wider than your shoulders and perhaps slightly wider than you would anticipate as well, okay? So we're going to be going over to your right side first of all. So I'm turning my right toes outwards slightly, okay? They don't have to be absolutely pointed to the edge of the mat, but they're outwards slightly. I'm going to just take the hands to the hip and test a bend into the right leg. Just testing that bend. Just to check that my knee is comfortable, my hip and my ankle are comfortable. Checking that my arch hasn't collapsed in my foot, and check that my knee hasn't overshot the toes, so the knee hasn't gone forward of the toes. Okay, so we're going to bend down into that knee once you've got that comfortable. We're turning chest, ribs, belly button towards the front. We take the forearm to the thigh and we go into a gentle side bend. You can take the weight now through the forearm, through the knee, through the lower leg into the tripod. And then we can reach up. Keep the chest, the belly button, the ribs facing forwards. Reach up on the inhale And exhale, reach over. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, take the hand all the way back down to the hip. Inhale, engage the core. And exhale, squeeze hips, squeeze bum, squeeze the side of the waist to come up. And let's just angle the toes the other direction. And again, check in, do a few practice bends. So the knee goes in the same direction as the toes. It doesn't overshoot the toes. The arch stays lifted, okay? And the knee's pretty much above the ankle. So let's bend in. Twist the torso to face the front. Forearm slides down the thigh, and we bring the forearm or the elbow to the knee, so the weight goes straight through the tripod and is distributed into the mat. Let's take the hand up, keeping the tummy button, the ribs, the chest facing forwards. Reach up on the inhale, and exhale, we reach over. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, bring the hand back to the hip. Inhale, engage the core. And strong through the hips, the waist, push through the tripod to lift back up. Keep those feet wide, we're going back the other way. So go slightly wider with the feet, tiny bit wider, just inch those toes away. And we're just gonna sit down into that knee and gently push in. So we're sinking the pelvic floor and the tailbone down towards the ground, okay? Think about sinking the hips to the ground. Inhale in. Exhale, push away. Still got strong arch, still pushing through the tripod. Exhale, push back to center. Let's go for 2 more. Inhale, drop the hips. Exhale, push up. Inhale, drop the hips. Exhale, push up. Let's twist on our toes. Have a go on the other side. Have a quick test first. Get your foot and your knee into the correct position. Inhale, drop the hips, sink in. Exhale, push away. Inhaling. And exhaling. So we're feeling this all around the thigh and around the hip joint. So we sink the hips and then we push strong through the tripod. Squeeze through the hips, the underneath of the bum. 2 more. Last one. And gently pick back up. So turn the toes to face the front and then heel toe to gently bring your legs back into center. And give it all a really good shake out. So you'll need your weighted ball for the next section, please. Standing with the ball in the prep position, circling the hips. Start to get the hips to move in their joints, start to get the lower back to start easing off. And let's go for our brain training. So send the ball the other way around the hips, please. Ball one way, hips the other. Keep trying, keep going with it. Back to centre and reverse hip direction. Get the hips going first and then add the ball in whenever you're ready. I'm going to really think about this afternoon. Okay, bringing it back through to the middle, well done. So we're going to hold the ball in our left hand and the ball's going to come low. The right hand's going to come nice and high, so that's your 4th position. I'm going to face away from the camera to show you what we're doing. We're going to be twisting around. You're going to lift the heel and twist on the toes. So the hips twist, okay? So the hips at the moment are facing the front and then they're just going to face off to the left, okay? So you get that lovely twist. As we do so, as we get that twist around, we're going to look over our back shoulder as well. I'm going to add in another movement. So what we're going to do is swap the hands. We're going to be crafting a huge big circle with the hands as we take the twist. Okay, so let's add in some breathing with that one, please. We're going to stand nice and tall, lengthen through the neck, draw the beeline in. We're going to inhale here. And as we exhale, we're going to swoop around, lifting the ribs, twisting and wringing out the spine. We inhale back to centre. And exhale, craft that big circle with your hands. Take that lovely swoop up. Inhale to centre. 3 more. Inhale, exhaling to twist. Inhaling back to centre. And that's 2 to go. And we're going to hold on this last one, so twist your way around, you can look behind you. All I'm going to ask you to do now is draw the beeline in, lift up through the rib cage slightly, and then angle the chest up towards the ceiling for a tiny back bend. Tiny back bend, and straighten up through the spine and bring it back to centre again. Okay, really nice. If you need to rub shrug, if that was a combination between shrug and roll, you got rug the shoulders out. We're going to have a go on the other side. So if you want to take the ball into your right hand this time, left hand comes up high, and just have a go at twisting without the arms. So it's going to be a twist on your toes. You can lift that back heel and you can twist around to the back of the room, look over the shoulder if you wish to, and come back. And then let's add in that arm as well. So inhale to prepare, exhale, make that nice big circle, lift up through the ribs, and inhale back to centre. Let's go for 4 more. Exhale, swoop up, lift the ribs, ring out the spine, inhale to centre. And this is an exhale on 3, back to centre. Exhale, 2, and back to centre, and hold on 1. Draw the beeline in, lift the ribs, angle the chest up, slight back bend, straighten the spine, and back through to the middle, and take the hands down again, and shrug, roll, or rug the shoulders out, whatever you want to call it, rolling back. Okie dokie, so I've got a couple of roll downs for you. The first roll down will be taking the hands to the floor, towards the floor. If you can get to the floor, you're going to roll your ball, or you're going to just tiptoe your fingers from side to side. And I want you to hold, really hold at one side for a stretch. You're going to want to look to your fingertips, but please don't. Please relax the head instead. If you're not quite at that position of touching the floor, just come to your hang and sway gently side to side. So inhaling to prepare. Exhale, you've got those 7 vertebrae in the neck to gently roll forwards. Draw the beeline in, lift the pelvic floor. You've got 12 in your thoracic spine. Gently folding those forward, tight tummy. And then you're going to roll up and over the hips towards the floor. And you've got weight out of the toes. You've got wiggly toes, weight in the tripod, soft knees. And keep that head relaxed as you gently take the fingertips or the ball over to one side. Take a breath. And then you can roll across to the other side. Again, take a breath on the stretch. And once more to each side. So we're going back over, taking a breath. And I'm returning to my final side for a stretch, breathing. And back to centre, relax into the bottom of the roll down. Inhale, soften knees. Exhale, push through feet, tuck tailbone down, engage core. Slowly bring yourself back up. So it's a nice slow return because we've had a good stretch. So same principle. This time we're going forwards and backwards. So it will be a reach out with the with the fingertips, and from this reach forward, you're relaxing the head again. But you can also kind of bend the knees and stretch the hips back, so you get an even bigger stretch through the back. And once you've gone forwards, you're going to go backwards, and again just tuck the head down all the time. So whenever you're ready, please, we are inhaling to prepare, and exhale, start to take that roll down, drawing in through the beeline, lifting up through the pelvic floor. Soft knees, relaxing the head, lengthening the back of the neck. Once you're towards the floor, you can take that reach forward. Keep the head relaxed, so you're just looking between your legs. Stretch through the back if you want to. Just gently bend the knees, sink the hips back, stretch further through the spine. And then you're going to bring the ball between the legs. So take it and roll it between the legs. Tuck the chin in and relax the head. Stretch through the legs. And you're going once more in each direction, please. Come to the bottom of your roll down. Relax down into the bottom of it. Bend knees, inhale. Exhale, bring yourself and your ball back up to your standing position. Okay, so we're going to go for a roll down into a walk out to plank now. So when we roll down, we'll just leave the ball between the feet and get it on the way back. So when you're ready, it's going to be an inhale, prepare. And exhale, a fairly quick roll down this time. Pop the ball between the legs. Inhale, prepare. Exhale then, bend the knees, take the hands nice and wide to the floor and walk the hands forward. So you can keep the bum in the air a little bit if you want to. And it's just going to be draw the beeline in, drawing it away from the floor and push strong out of the shoulders. So push through the mat, lift yourself out of your shoulder girdle. Breathe in, breathe out. Really inhale, prepare. And exhale to start walking the hands back. You can bend the knees, send the bottom up and walk the hands back to the bottom of your roll down. Pick up your ball and bring yourself back up to a standing position, please. So let's take a nice big stretch up now, reaching up above us. Lift that ball. And if you want to, you can come up to the tiptoes as well. Take a good stretch. If you need to take a little walk around your room, please do. Maybe stretch more on one side, more on the other side. And bringing that back down. Take your hands out to the side, arms up. I want your elbows to stay fairly level with your shoulders. You'll see a lot of people's elbows drop in. So try and keep the shoulders and elbows parallel. And we're going to do a slight movement for the rotator cuff muscles. So it's going to gently, forearms drop forwards and we exhale to pull them back up. Okay, so inhale forwards, exhale, rotate at the shoulder. Inhale forwards, exhale, rotate at the shoulder. Let's do 3 more. Try and keep those elbows in line with those shoulders as much as we can. 2 more to go. Inhale to fold forwards. Exhale to lift. Last one. Let's take it down. Bring it up. It's not quite the last one because we're going to bring the hands together. Take them wide and do 6 again. So inhale, drop forwards. Exhale to lift. Inhale forwards. Exhale to lift. 4 more. Stick with it. 3 more to go. 1, 2, last one. 3, lovely. Bring those hands in and relax your shoulders. Give them a good move out. So they can be quite tricky because they're very small muscles, your rotator cuffs. They're not like, you know, your leg muscles or your core muscles. They're really, really tiny, so they fatigue quite quickly. Let's move on to some squats. So squat of your choice, really, whatever width you'd like to do. We're just going to do an ordinary bog standard happy squat. So make sure that your arches are raised. Okay, the ankles don't collapse in, that your knees are going to bend in the same direction as your toes, like always. And we're going to roll the shoulders up and back and slot the shoulder blades down into position. We're going to then draw the beeline in. We're going to lift up through the pelvic floor and we're going to inhale as we sink the hips backwards, arms forwards, and exhale to push through those legs. Inhale and exhale, and 4 more. Let's inhale down. Exhale to lift, inhaling and exhaling. Let's go for a couple more. Draw that beeline in, keep that spine nice and long. Lovely, last one. And push through the feet, squeeze through the bum. Let's take those feet slightly wider. We're going to go for an overhead squat, so hold that ball overhead. Relax shoulders, relax shoulder blades. Turn those toes outwards slightly. We're going to sit the tailbone down between the knees. So inhale, prepare. Exhale, knees go up nice and wide. Tailbone goes between the knees and you exhale, push into the tripods to lift. Adjust your feet if you need to. Make sure you're wide enough. You do want to go fairly wide. Inhale, tailbone down. Exhale, push up. And make sure your knees aren't falling in. Remember, keep those knees in the same direction as the toes. Let's go for about 3 more. So this one allows us to keep drawing our beeline in and our pelvic floor up. And it also allows us to keep the spine a little bit more upright than your standard squat does. And it just changes the positioning of the spine, which changes the positioning of the hips. Lovely, and bring it down. So just watch for this next one. We'll be taking the hands up above the head again. If you want to, you can do this with or without the ball, okay, depending how well and balanced you feel. If I just do you a quick demonstration, then I'll get you to join in. It will be that same overhead squat. As we push up though, we're going to push up with one leg and come to a side leg raise. And then you've got to be really careful and controlled about placing the foot back in the correct position so you're ready for your next squat. Okay, so we'll do the first couple nice and slowly, and then we'll speed it up a little bit, and I want you to try and keep that same control. So reaching up, relax shoulders, drop shoulder blades, draw a beeline in. Let's inhale, holding on to that core centering. Exhale, start to take it up, take the weight into one leg, push off, lift, and gently controlled placement. Inhale, sit back down. Exhale, push up. We're going on to one leg. You get a bit of a push off, a lift, and a controlled return. Lovely. So when you're ready, we're going to do this tiny bit faster. So it's going to be inhale down, exhale, lift, push. Inhale down, exhale, lift and push. Inhale, control. Exhale, push, lift. Inhale down, exhale, push, and lift and bring it back to center, and bring your hands down, really nice. Okay, shake it off, shake it off. And we're going to get down onto, oh no, we're not going onto the mat yet, we've got one more to go, sorry. Pop that ball down, out of the way. We're going to our calf stretch stances next. So if you want to come to the front of your mat, take your right foot and take the toes back, roll the heel down to the floor. So this next set of movements is meant to be quite relaxing, flowing, kind of floaty. I want you to imagine like your upper body's kind of in the water, it's well supported. We're going to flow through these. So do tuck your tailbone down slightly, do lift up through your ribs and lengthen up through the top of your neck. Now if you've got the space, you're going to take your hands out to the side, relax your shoulders and imagine that your arms are floating in the water. And it's going to be an inhale to rotate them through to the right. So that's wherever your back leg is, if your right leg's back. And your inhale to kind of float back through the water. And your exhale to rotate nice and tall through the spine, relax through the shoulders. Back again, one more time. Inhale to rotate. And your exhale to return. We're going to take the hands up then for a stretch up. And gently bring them down. So this is where we need more control. We're going to relax the hands towards the floor. We're side bending to the left. So this is a small side bend. We need good strength around the hips and the bum. So kind of clamp on now with the hips, the bum and the thighs. Drawing through the beeline. Lift through the pelvic floor. Inhale, ear to the left shoulder. And exhale for a tiny side bend as far as you want to go. Inhale at the bottom. And the exhale to gently pull back up. We're going to do that one more time, same side, ear to shoulder on the inhale. Exhale, take that side bend nice and strong through your stance. Inhale at the bottom and the exhale to return. Bring the hands to the first position, lift the back foot. We're going to bring the back knee up and through to postural balance and gently place the leg down to the floor. Okay, we'll have a go at that on the other side. So when you're ready, we'll take our left leg back this time into your calf stretch stance, okay? And again, just checking that we're sitting nice and upright. So tuck the tailbone down, lift the ribs, lengthen through the back of the neck. We'll take the hands out, we'll relax the shoulders, and we'll imagine we're floating in that water. We're going to inhale to gently flow around to the left, and exhale to flow back to center. And inhale, flow around to the left. And exhale back through to center. And one more time. Third rotation through that water, relaxing those shoulders. Back to the middle. Inhale, take the hands up. And exhale, relax, lengthen fingertips down to the floor. Side bends to the right. Inhale, ear to shoulder, clamping on through the hips and the legs. Exhale, slight side bend. Inhale at the bottom. Engage core. Really strong stance to lift you back up. Again, ear to shoulder, reaching down. And when you're ready, coming back up. Hands to first position, lift the back heel, gently coming up to stand on that front leg if you've got room, and place the foot back down. Okay, so now I'm not lying to you this time, we're going to get down onto the ground. You can bring various weighted ball or squidgy ball if you want to. I can give you some options to use them, but they're not vital. So if you can lay yourself down onto the floor, we don't necessarily need a weighted ball for this one unless you're feeling really strong and want to have a go. If you are using the weighted ball, you'll hold it in the hands, but you shouldn't need it. We're going to be using both arms and both legs, so it should be enough weight. Just add it in if you're really desperate for a challenge. If you've got a squidgy ball, it can go between the knees. We're all going to go up to our tabletop position, so one at a time, gently lifting the legs, imprinting the spine. If you want that big ball in between the knees, take it in between the knees. If you want the other ball, it goes in between the hands. So we're all going to take the hands up to the ceiling. I'm not going to use that today. And relax the shoulders in towards the mat. So it's just a double arm, double leg extension. Inhale, prepare. And then exhale to gently lengthen through the limbs. Inhale, back to centre. Keeping that back imprinted on the floor. Drawing that beeline in. Inhale to centre. And just 4 more. Okay, you can see I'm not taking my legs very far. I've already trained my core today, so I don't want to do too much work. If you wanted to go for something harder, you extend to a flatter hold, a flatter position. Okay, that's up to you. Just make sure your core can control it, okay, and take your pause. So if you need to ease off the back, maybe take the knees from side to side, please feel free. Okay, if you want to take a stretch or hug the knees in at all, again, feel free to ease off however you'd like to. And we'd best go for another set of 6, hadn't we? So when you're ready, please, tabletop position. One leg, engage, and the other leg. Ball between the knees. If you do want to add in a weighted ball in the hands, do, but it does make it harder. So it's going to be your inhale, prepare, draw beeline in, exhale, extend. Inhale to centre. So beeline in, pelvic floor up, exhale. Inhaling in, exhaling. We're going for 3 more. Use that breath. Exhale on that hard bit. Go for 1 more, I think. I really struggle to talk and keep count at the same time, so I'm really sorry if I'm wrong. If you need to do an extra one. Counting has never been a strong point of mine. Much more of a wordy kind of person. Give me a poetry book over a maths book any day. Okay, so when we are ready to go on to our next exercise, it's going to be, let me double check, that's just gone out of my mind. Our V-shaped extensions. So this is no arms, just legs. And we're going to create a nice V shape with the toes, which you'll remember from our pliés right at the start of the class. We had our heels together and our toes out to the side. Now hopefully you can see that in the mirror if I just twist around so you can see it in the camera. There you go, heels together, toes spread. Okay, so that's your start of your V shape. What I like to do is pull the knees in. So the knees come in and they come quite wide, kind of out to the shoulders, and the heels come in nice and tight to the groin. That's your start position. And then to exhale, you straighten the legs, you keep the toes apart, keep the heels together. So maintain that V shape at the legs, at the feet all the time. Exhale, push away. Inhale, withdrawing. And about 4 more. Just want you to do about 6 in total. If you want to go for more, that's fine. But draw that beeline in, lift that pelvic floor, and squeeze around the hips, squeeze around the bottom. So you can really squeeze kind of under the bum, on the outside of the hips and the thighs. I've lost count again already, so I'm just going to do another couple. Drawing that beeline in, engaging that pelvic floor, using that exhale to push the heels away, straightening through the legs and the hips, and then you can bring the knees and place the feet back on the floor. And again, do a few twists from side to side or hook the knees into the chest. Okay, just easing off in your own way. So our next movement is going to be another set of those. There is an option if you want it to add the arms in as well, so it does become more like the double leg and arm extension that we started with, but with the V-shaped feet. So it would be arms up, and as you extend the hands as well. Okay, so that's up to you if you want to add the hands in. If it's already enough focus on the hips, please just feel free. to relax the hands out to the side of you, or to come to rest them on the tummy as well. Okay, it can be a good bit of feedback to make sure your tummy's engaged if you can just be there with the fingertips on the tum. So when you are ready, let's come up to our tabletop. This is what I'm trying to say. And then bring the heels together, toes apart for the V. Draw the knees in, hands either out to the side or relaxed on the tummy to enforce good beeline engagement, or they're out to the ceiling to add in to the movement. Inhale at the centre and exhale, straighten those legs, keep that V shape at the feet. Inhale to centre. 5 more. Use that breath, use that core engagement, use the hips, the thighs, the bum. About 3 more to go. Last one. Wonderful. And tuck everything in, place everything back down on the floor. So it is just a leg and arm extension, but by changing the angle of the hips and the angle of the feet, we're just using different parts of the leg, different parts of the hip. So it becomes more of a kind of glute and hamstring exercise, as well as a hip strengthener too. Okay, so our next movement, I was speaking to people in class about this week. I often teach it to beginners and they think they're brilliant at it, okay, because they go from tabletop. I ask them to do a windscreen wiper legs and they go all the way over left and right with their knees. They go really far, they think they've got loads of control, loads of strength. And they're doing a good job, but what they're actually doing is twisting through their spine, through their skeleton. They're using very superficial, which by superficial I mean kind of surface muscles. They're not getting the deep core stabilizers on like we know how to do. Okay, and we know what we're doing more with this now that we've been doing Pilates for a while. So if you want to use the ball in between the knees, the bigger ball, please feel free. It will help to keep your knees in alignment. We're going to come up to our tabletop position and we are going to imagine our spine. We're going to visualize our spine as it is right now. Okay, it runs straight down the center of our bodies. It is imprinted onto the floor. It is really safe and secure because we have imprinted it. We have drawn our B-lines in. We have lifted our pelvic floors. And we don't want that spine to move off its central position. We're going to move the legs off center ever so slightly without the spine budging. Okay, the hips might move and roll slightly, but we don't want is for the spine to twist off the floor or to rock and roll. Okay, so it's inhale, slight movement off center with the knees. Exhale, tug them back in. Inhale, slight movement. Exhale to center, and all the time we're visualizing that spine in its lovely central position. Okay, and that's what we're trying to maintain. So go a couple more times to each side. And this is really quite quintessentially a Pilates type of strength, a stability type of strength. So traditionally, strength in many people's minds, you can relax there, strength in many people's minds means muscles, it means lifting heavy things, it means kind of looking all muscly and strong and, being the buffest, the strongest in the group. And our Pilates strength is very, very different to that. Rather than building these kind of visual surface muscles, we're building these internal, very deep stabilizing muscles to help us stabilize the spine, to help us stabilize the hips. And if we can strengthen these muscles, they're just going to do a much better job at holding our skeleton in the right places because we practice in perfect posture. And if we can keep building this excellent posture, it becomes more habitual, it becomes stronger, and we're more likely to move efficiently. We're going to prevent injuries a lot better, and we're also going to reduce aches and pains because we're standing much better, we're sitting much better, we're moving without our spine being all floppy and flopping all over the place, and we're learning to recruit the correct muscles. Okay, so let's go again for another set of those. Lifting up to your tabletop, place that big ball in between the knees if you have one, and visualize your spine, please. Visualize the spine, draw the B-line in, lift the pelvic floor up. Whenever you're ready, it's your inhale to take that slight off center with the knees. Exhale to return, and try and keep that spine in its central position where it needs to be, so that we're engaging these deep core muscles, these stabilizers that are going to help us long term to improve our posture, improve our core strength, and prevent injury. Okay, so you can be the strongest person in the world and you can still be a sloucher, you can still have terrible posture. In fact, many strong people do have terrible posture. So a couple more to each side, please. And strong finish. Well done. Place those feet down on the floor. So for this next exercise, I would recommend the weighted ball for this. We'll start with the arms first. In fact, I'm going to just turn around on my mat so that I've got a little bit more space for my arms. Limited for space here. It's a shame my house didn't come with a built-in studio, isn't it? Right, let's come to our laying down posture. We've got feet on the floor, we've got knees bent. I'd like you to hold your hands up out in front of you, just relax the shoulders. So imagine you're in that kind of first position, arm position, and you're just going to go out to second. So you're going to take the hands wide and then bring them back in. Okay, so first to second, pass the ball over at the top, first to second. And from here we can think about imprinting the spine, so we tilt the pelvis in towards the rib cage. We imprint the spine, we draw the B-line in. And we're working through the shoulders, we're working through the pectorals, but we're also working through the core, because we're not letting our shoulders rock and roll from side to side. We're keeping our shoulder girdle nice and even. We're taking weight through both the shoulder blades, and we're not kind of getting this rocking and rolling off center with the weight of the ball. So let's bring the ball back up to that first position, and we're going to now lift one by one each leg to tabletop position. So as we go down out to our second hand position, we're going to take that ball down in the right hand. As we take the ball down in the right hand, we're going to cock the left leg out to the side, open the knee up, okay, open up through the thigh, and then bring everything back into centre. Swap the ball to the left hand, go out to second and out with the right leg, the right knee, and exhale back to the middle. Okay, so inhale, ball goes on the opposite hand to the knee. Exhale back to centre. Inhale, take it wide. Exhale back in. So what we've got here is your pelvis trying to rock your spine one way and your shoulder girdle trying to rock your spine the other. So we've got these abs working in different directions to control that central position of your spine and that central position of the hips and shoulders. So again, it's nice stability work. We're also getting a little bit of work through the shoulders, through the chest, and you'll feel it in the inner thighs as well. Okay, so let's just go for 2 or 3 more, please. Drawing that B-line in, lift that pelvic floor up. Make these last ones good ones. And when you do come to finish, you can take the feet to the floor and place the ball back onto the ground. And again, you can just ease off through the back, whether that's swinging the knees from side to side, whether that's hugging the knees into the chest, whether it's just straightening the legs out away from you, maybe taking a bit of a stretch. That's up to you. Let's bring the knees in towards the chest now and just hug the knees, please. Okay, and if you want to, you can take your gentle rocks and rolls from side to side. You can also hold the legs a bit wider if you want to hold the knees a bit wider as you roll. And just try and lengthen through the neck a bit. And massage the back into the floor. You can close the eyes if you want to. And enjoy that movement. Gently take the feet back to the floor, full body stretch then, point the toes, reach up with the fingers and let the back curve off the floor and stretch all the way through your stomach. That feels good today after all those extensions, that feels really nice. And then we'll bring those feet back in, bending the knees. We'll go for our spinal twist. So hands out to the side, palms face the ceiling. Take your left leg, cross it all the way over your right. Let the knees drop to the right hand side. The hips twist off the floor and the shoulders stay on the mat. And you can look over your left shoulder if you like to. Breathe in, breathe out. Nice long breath, please. And just melt into the floor beneath you. And head back towards the ceiling, engage the tummy and gently bring the legs back into the middle and cross the legs the other way, so right leg over the left, let the knees drop over to the side and then look over the right shoulder. So you've got knees going left, head looking right. Long breath in, long breath out. And melting into the mat. Head back to centre, engage core, bring the legs back in. We'll do our pigeon and then we've got some really nice seated stretches to do. So let's take the left ankle onto the right knee to begin with. And you can push that left thigh nice and wide. Now you'll know if you like the next stage of the stretch, which is to pull the legs into the torso. You don't have to do this, it's completely up to you. And a long breath in and a long breath out, please. Relax shoulders, relax forehead, relax jaw. Okay, and release. We'll have a go on the other side. So right ankle crosses onto the left knee, and that first stage is to push that right thigh away as you are aware. And that second stage, if you want it, you can take it, pull the legs in towards the torso, and long breath in, long breath out. And gently releasing there. Okay, we're going to roll ourselves onto our sides and push up onto our bottoms next, please. So when you're ready, come up to that seated posture and take your legs nice and wide for a bit of a stretch. Try and keep the toes pointing up and the kneecaps pointing up. We're going to do our oblique stretch from here. If it's really uncomfortable, do feel free to bring the legs in, obviously. We're going to reach up with one hand, reach up through the chest, up through the ribs, up and over. You can place the spare hand down and take that stretch from your hip to your rib cage and breathe into that big side body, that big open bit of your body. Inhale into the side. And exhale, and kind of use that breath to stretch you out. So you stretch yourself from the inside out. And then gently push back into the hand, bring yourself sitting as upright as you can. Lift through the hand, lift through the ribs, through the chest, up and over. And breathe into that side body, stretching from the inside. and push into the hands, gently coming back in. So if you want to increase that stretch, please feel free to increase the stretch. You can kind of shimmy your bottom forwards a little bit. And let's see if we can just take the fingertips to the floor in front of us. If you can get fingertips to the floor, keep those toes pointing upwards. See if you can get the hands flat on the floor. That might mean that you just need to duck your rib cage forwards slightly. Okay, and once you've done that, if you've done that, I just want you to walk the hands forwards a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to just bring our neck in line with the spine. So straighten the neck in line with the spine. And I want you to take a big breath into your back. So try and breathe and inhale into your back and make your back go nice and big. And then exhale. And then target the lower back. Try and send the breath into the lower back. And exhale. And into the mid back now. And exhale. And into the upper back. And then see if you can walk any further forward in the stretch. Take a breath in and out. And then start walking the hands back up towards the groin and bringing the body upright. Bring those legs back in, help them in, give them a wiggle. Maybe give them a bit of a rub as well. Okay, beautiful. And we're going to come up to a standing position. We're going to take a Pilates roll up. So swinging around onto the hands and knees. Toes curl underneath you, walk the hands back, and we're going to send the bottom up, the head down, and we're going to enjoy a lovely roll up. Now we're going to come to face the camera or the video whenever you're ready, and we'll take our feet hip width apart. Let's take that slight bend at the knee, reach up in the inhale, and exhale, inhaling up. And exhale, take it down, and last one, reach up nice and wide, nice and tall, and take it down. Okay, and thank you again for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed that, I hope you're feeling nice and loose, and I'll hopefully see you next week. Bye!